Hi guys and ladies. Thank you for having us here. We are going to speak about how we rewrote one of our largest servers with more than 1 million monthly active users. We are going to speak about how we moved from PHP to JavaScript. And by JavaScript, I mean NodeJS and React. And we are going to speak about how we moved from on-premise servers to cloud. And by cloud, I mean AWS. This presentation has two parts. First part is about infrastructure challenges, and the second part is about JavaScript. We have few tips for you during the presentation. So please make yourself comfortable and enjoy our beautiful English. So let me introduce myself. I am Josef. I am a software developer and team leader at Economia. There is my Twitter account on the screen. Feel free to follow me. I have there about 8 or maybe 9 followers. So you can join my private club if you want. And please, Štěpán, can you introduce?
Hello, I'm Štěpán. I'm responsible for product and technology at Economia. And just brief introduction of Economia for those who don't know us. So we are one of the largest media houses here in Czech Republic, mainly focus on news and business news. We have a lot of print products, but also doing a lot of online because, you know, React in print, probably there will be no point of contact. We do also a lot of events for our readers, clients and users. And one of the products which we have in an online space is, hopefully, it's centrum.cz. For non-Czech visitors, it's something like Yahoo, but Czech one, small one. It has a free mail service behind that. It's actually one page which serves as a portal for all other products and services we have. And as Pepa already said, it was all kind of, it's not only a little bit aged as a product, but it was also quite aged when you look into technology. So a lot of legacy things which we wanted to change to something which we will be able to operate better and get some advantage from using new technologies. And during the process, we faced few challenges. And I would like to walk you through the infrastructure ones, and then Pepa talk a little bit more about JavaScript and React part. So the first challenge is servers versus serverless. And actually, we had still quite large on-premise infrastructure with thousands of servers. And it's something which we don't want to expand more, because taking care of cables, taking care of switches and hardware is not core of our business. We are not infrastructure providers, so it's really not part of our business. So we decided to, move from the on-prem hardware to, in our case, to the cloud, to the AWS. Along the way, we also decided to, skip our amazing deployment process, which involved Debian packages. Yeah, it was good 10 years ago. It was really good. Nowadays, it's kind of outdated, I would say. And we decided to do it as much serverless as possible. So we use Lambdas, we use Docker on Amazon ACS instances, so we don't care about the instances at all. So we still have some servers there, but we don't care about them. If it doesn't work, just scrap it, spin another one, and it works. And what was the most important part for us was that we decided to give the production keys to the developers. And that's frankly for me, because I'm more manager than developer for sure nowadays. that's the most important part. But Pepa told me it should be technical talk, so and I will try to make it technical. But for me, the last one is the most important one because it's cultural change, and for us, big one. So the first one was get rid of the servers. We did. We switched to Docker. A lot of reasons for that. And we switched to Lambdas. So the first challenge kind of solved. No more on-prem servers. The second one is availability and balancing. And again, we had to face the problem that in on-prem infrastructure, normally what you have are some, big boxes with a lot of features, with big price tag also, and doing a lot of stuff, distributing traffic to all the servers, taking care of routing traffic based on headers, cookies, and other things. And we found out that these boxes can be actually easily rewritten to the H lambdas, or the logic which is in the servers, and H lambdas on AWS CloudFront CDN. So we replace this, again, expensive box. Someone has to take care about it with a few lines of JavaScript. Again, works really nice. It also takes care about SSL offloading and all the things you don't want to solve in your application, and you want to somehow offload it somewhere else. And we also get one interesting benefit, which increase our availability big time. And actually, when you think about the Centrum page or Yahoo or something like that, it's just one page, actually. It's single page with a lot of links, a few images, but it's one page. And what we are doing now is that I think every minute we generate a static version of the page and store it in S3 bucket. And when something goes wrong and the CloudFront receives 500 error, we use the CloudFront error handling to not display the 500 error to the user, but actually goes to S3 and serve the static page. Even in a situation when the Docker cluster is down or something goes wrong. And it works really nice. We tested a few times already. And it actually really works. And you can turn off the entire infrastructure. And when the CloudFront works and when the S3 works, you still can serve the page and serve the product as the user needs. So we remove the expensive box, and we increase the availability, which I think is also nice. And the first challenge for us, static assets and traffic cost, because frankly, we don't need, for Centrum, we don't need some fancy CDN, delivering across 100 nodes around the globe. 95% is traffic is coming from Czech Republic. So actually, what was most expensive for us was the traffic. I don't know what's your experience with AWS, but for us, the traffic is the most expensive part. And for $2,000, actually, you can get here in Czech Republic, 10 gigs to the NICs, no problem at all. So to pay $2,000 just for serving static assets, images, JavaScript, style sheets, and other things, it's quite a lot. And we didn't want that much. We just wanted to serve the static assets, and that's it. And that's where Cloudflare came to, save our bills, let's put it this way. So, and we are happy with the, I think, smallest plan, $20. And we serve all the traffic, all the static assets there. And we don't use AWS for that one because it would be quite expensive. And when we did that all together, I think the nice thing which we hoped at the beginning that we will end up with, we actually did, was that we have the entire infrastructure in our Git repository. So we can build it from the Git repo. We have it all versioned, which is quite hard when you have physical servers and physical hardware you have to take care about, because it's hard to put it into Git repo. So that's, I think, all from me. That's very infrastructure part, and now to something which is kind of more appropriate for the conference, and that's the JavaScript part.
Yes, because this is a JavaScript conference, let's talk about JavaScript a little bit. During our move from PHP to React, we have faced several challenges. I would like to show you some of them, and what is more important, I would like to show you how we have solved them. There is our first challenge. It is about handling errors. I have a question for you. Do anybody know what is this? Help me, guys. This is the white page. Okay. This is the white page. And why is there a white page? Because there is an error somewhere in your JavaScript, and it is really easy to get this white page with React if there is an error somewhere. And I think this is the worst thing your visitors can get. Or maybe it can be even worse, because if your adverts are initialized outside React, your page can look like this. And maybe this looks like a dream for your business department, but I am pretty sure your visitors will be very upset. So, what can you do about this thing? You can use technique called error boundaries. The 16 plus is not about age, it is about version of React. This comes out of the box with React. And there is new function. This function is called component catch, and this function is called if there is an error somewhere during rendering your component, and you can handle this error. You can, I don't know, serve secondary content to your visitors. You can send a log somewhere, and finally, what is most important, only the component with error does not work, so your visitors can consume the rest of your page, and I think this is definitely better than before. So there is our next challenge. It is about first page load, because if you are adding more and more code, your bundle is increasing, and somehow sometimes you can have a problem with very slow rendering, especially if your visitors have older devices or mobile phones, and if it takes, I don't know, longer than 5 or 10 seconds to render your page, your visitors can leave, and this is really bad. So what can you do? You can use dynamic imports. There is a code word import, and if you use this, your bundle is automatically split into smaller chunks, and you can serve these chunks asynchronously. Like, I mean, with the first request, you can serve only the small first chunk with top of your page with your landing page, and the rest of your bundles can be loaded after asynchronously. So you can save a lot of transfer data, and you can make your first page load faster with dynamic imports. There is our third issue. It is about crawlers and old browsers. And it is really important to have your page properly indexed. This is not only about Google. We have here in Czech Republic another crawlers like Seznam, and some of them cannot execute JavaScript. So it is really important for us to have our page indexed. It can be benefit also for users with older browsers like Internet Explorer 10 or 9, because executing JavaScript is very slow in these browsers. And there is our solution for this use case. We We solve it by combination of server and client-side rendering. We have a list of JavaScript compatible browsers, and we are checking visitor's user agent header, and if we think he has a compatible or fast browser, we skip server-side rendering. That means we are serving only plain HTML without body. And if we think that the visitor is bot, we are therefore sync the variable for the server side, and that means he gets whole bundle or HTML rendered. There are some tests. These tests are taken on T2 medium machines on AWS. This machine cost us about, I don't know, $20 every month, so not so much. These tests are taken without CDN, without caches. We are testing here our Express server directly, and as you can see, with client-side rendering, we can handle twice as many requests with server-side. There is big difference between average response time, and what is most important for us is about transfer data, because as Štěpán said, we are charged mostly from transfer data, so we can save a lot of data. That means we can save a lot of money if we are skipping server-side rendering. Maybe it looks like the best solution should be avoid server-side rendering completely. It could be, but it is not that easy. I think this is a long story for another presentation, so let's move on. And there is our last issue. It is about aggressive ads. Most of our incomes are from ads, so we are very depending on our advertisers. And what is very bad here is that these ads are served by third parties, and we don't know what they can do. And sometimes they can touch our HTML, our elements rendered by React, and this can be a really problem. I have an example for you. There is a very simple component which renders element with ID demo, and there is very short script, and this script is changing the inner HTML of this element, and this can be really problem because your React application can break, or the advert can disappear after the component state is changed. And I think both of the situations are wrong. So we are using uncontrolled components. It is very easy. Just put return false to should component update function, and that means the React stops care about this component after render, and your advert can do literally anything with this component. So thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for not killing me for my English after the presentation. Thank you.
And thank you both for your talk. Well, again, the same drill with the questions. So Alexander asks, how much infrastructure costs increase you had by inserting server-side rendering?
Yeah, I think it's mainly about traffic. So we save half of the costs for the traffic by doing client-side rendering. So it's not about the CPUs we would need to serve the requests. I think there's not for us it's not a big deal. But it will probably almost not double, but I think we will add 30% if we do server-side rendering for all the requests.
All right, thank you. This is something that I'm also interested in. How many of your users are still using Internet Explorer?
This is very typical for Syntrum because we have a lot of users with IE. I think it is about 15%.
No, it's around 20% still.
And so
that's
quite
a lot of them the old versions. So it's is it what is it? Yeah.
Right, thank you. So, Anonymous asked, how much did you use from old PHP solution? Did you use some migration tool when moving to the new technology?
No, we started from scratch. No PHP more.
That's really cool. Okay. So, it's really cool that you could have done it actually, and that you've actually done it. So, let's move on. What about performance with high loads?
I think for us, what is high load for us is about 1,000 requests per second. That's kind of the peak. We can handle that if everything works as expected. Of course, when it doesn't, we switch to this S3 thing, and I think in that scenario we can serve quite a lot.
All right. There are still quite a bit of questions, but we have quite some time, so I think we can continue. If you don't mind, we'll just go on.
Yeah. So what is it? How do you add the server-side rendering with cache?
This doesn't work for us because our page is dynamic.
Yeah.
We have something called recommendation, and
content, yeah.
we recommend the articles for users. So it is hard to cache this content because it is different for every user.
That's the reason why we have static assets on kind of using Cloudflare for that one and have it on separate domain and all these things. But the main page, the HTML code and the JavaScript code goes from the Cloudflare and CloudFront and from the servers who actually serve that, because every single user gets the different page a little bit.
Right. Cool.
How do you deploy infrastructure to AWS? Right now we are using CodeShip. Is that right? Yeah.
And JSON.
So CodeShip takes care about all the ugly things which we need for CI and CD.
What is interesting here, all our infrastructure, as Štěpán said, is in our Git repo. So we can deploy this infrastructure and we can do quick changes.
Yeah, when you want to just create again the kind of production environment and all of that, you can actually do that. I think it's easier with all the cloud infrastructures. It's quite hard to do that with on-prem, of course.
Okay, let's go on. We are getting to the end. So, are you using or have you considered using IAC, like Terraform?
Yes, we are now quite happy with what we have, frankly, but this is definitely not so answer for all the products which we have. It's not. It's probably not the end state for us. Even this one is kind of big leap. Let's put it this way. And yeah, well, where we will end up in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, who knows? I think. The another one is probably for you, Peppa, because they understand the world. So.
All right, the next one. So, in regards to SSR cache, do you implement critical CSS pattern?
I'm very sorry, but I don't know what does it mean.
Okay, we can probably move on.
Okay, and the last one. Yeah, we are using Frankfurt data centers, and the AWS and Frankfurt is actually connected to the Czech NICs, so the latency is not a problem whatsoever. And also the CloudFront has the edge locations in Czech Republic, so that's not a big deal. Yeah, the latency increased a little bit, but it's not like what it was in the past, comparing, I don't know, 5 milliseconds to 50. Now we are talking about 3-5 milliseconds when you have it on-prem to 7 or 8 milliseconds. So it's not that big difference nowadays.
Okay, so thank you both folks for
So again, thank you very much.
Here,
thank
speaking.
you.